Thank you for coming. What an incredible time we're living in. The fact that I even got on the ballot is so special. And I know I shared this, you guys, I'm sorry for you guys who have had to hear it a second time, but for those of you who haven't or have just met me, who's the first time? So I think you're the first time that you've gotten to kind of hear me speak. So it was the, there you go, and yes, okay, so let me stand this way. These are my good friends over here. It was the week of caucus, and I was there, and I was sick as a dog, and I'm wearing this pretty much the same outfit with the coat on, because it was cold. I was with Rebecca, I'm just sitting there like, oh man, I don't want to be here, the Republican Party, this whole thing, but I love my country, and I know it's my duty, and I realized no one was challenging Doug Lamborn. And my eyes kind of went like this, and I went, huh. Something started stirring inside of me. I believe it was a God thing. I am a person of faith, because I said I'm either crazy or it is God. For me to find the courage and the political will to write a speech, to come as a surprise nomination. I told very few people. I knew how the rules were at the Assembly. I got up on stage, presented myself as a write-in candidate. I gave my speech by the grace of God. I went because I took a stand against the Republican Party, but I was also standing for something that I hadn't been involved in the Republican Party for over a decade, working on campaigns, working for elected officials, going to meeting, whether it was a volunteer or paid staff all over the state, hearing all these strategy meetings about what we need to do for the future, and not seeing anyone really stepping up to make those changes come to fruition, to place. One of those, we need more youth, we need more women. We'll win. There's something inside of me. I said, you guys don't really believe that. You're just trying to fundraise or just get to the next step. And I said, there's something going on here. And for me to run for office, it was my last stand. I said, if the Republican Party doesn't have room for me, then my time is better spent elsewhere. But to even think that made me sad, because I know so many people that work so hard for liberty. They're really committed to the cause. They write checks. They run for office themselves. The people that mentor me and say, Callie, don't give up. Don't leave. Because I said, why should I stay? One, there's no single cute guys at any of these meetings. As much as I enjoy, people from all generations, I was just kind of like, standing on the little island there. So anyway, going back around to that day at the Assembly, I gave my speech. I put my heart out there. I said it doesn't take courage to run against someone who's held political office for 21 years, the State House, the State Senate, and then Congress. That's not what it is. And Jeannie and Doug are standing over there. I said it takes courage for me to stand up here in front of people that today will influence the next several years of the Republican Party. That the people in that room have the responsibility to affect the culture of the Republican Party. That took courage, because I said it's up to them. So I'm going up there, I'm putting my all, very few people know that I'm running. I'm going to go make a statement, and I'm going to go wave and get ice cream, which is exactly what I did. Okay? I did not expect to get 58% of the vote as a write-in candidate.
Woohoo!
Wow. And I set a record. It was... And
by 18 votes short of kicking him off the ballot.
Wow.
That close, which Doug Lamborn doesn't want people to know. And there was another candidate in the race. It wasn't just me and Doug. And so, I got the phone call saying you got 58% of the vote, and I said some words that I won't repeat here because I was in shock. But there was something inside of me. It was like skydiving. The whole world opened up. My life changed. That day it changed. I was like, there's no going back. I'm not the same. I can't go back. I'm in a race for U.S. Congress. That I could actually become the next congresswoman, the first one, all these things floating through my head. And I said, wait a minute. Mostly it was like, this country girl with big hair, big teeth can actually make a difference. That was the miracle that day. It's someone who has invested, who has given, who has sacrificed. While my friends are out, going on vacations, raising families, having real jobs. I'm sitting at the Capitol, God bless America. So for me to stand up and to say, man, all these sacrifices I've made have been worth it, because, it's what I really hoped was true in my heart about my country, about democracy. It became true that day. because it hadn't been in my experience. And so it lit a fire inside of me. And my last stand is someone who's been in politics, who's always been an activist, even since I was little, a philanthropist, doing humanitarian work overseas, studying Islam, studying some of the democratic development. I thought I'd be back in D.C. I'd be going overseas, doing some Christian mission work, riding horses the rest of the time. And that's my American dream. And so, me to jump into this, to come so far to actually be a true competitor to Doug Lamborn, who's a multimillionaire, who has $300,000 in the bank the day I won, and who can give himself as much money as he wants. For me to run, I think we've raised passively just about $20,000. We're going toe to toe with him. That's a miracle, and it was a reflection of the political culture. It's not just me. I'm standing on the work of Bentley Rayburn, Jeff Crank, Blaha, but there's something about this time that I feel like I'm stepping into, that this is really possible, and it is happening. I can feel it. I'm trying to hold expectations loosely. I don't want to be disappointed. You never know with politics. It's up one day, down one day. But for me to go towards and look at 28, it's not just will I win, but it's when I win, it's only the beginning. Because I'm so responsible to build the Republican Party, to start over. Like, if we keep doing what we've been doing, I've already talked to Steve House. I said, I'm coming. We're not doing what we've been doing. It's over. I can't, the division, the fact that county parties won't talk with state and vice versa, you guys don't share lists, the backbiting, the drama, the corruption, no. Because if you guys can't get people to vote for you, it's your problem. This is our responsibility. We got to get our own house in order. It's not about being a Republican. It is about being a Republican, but it's about being American. It's about what the true role of government is. It's about integrity in the democratic process. So my job is not only to be the representative that Doug isn't, the leader, rearranging my office and hiring more veteran specialists, because that's what we're going to have to do. He has it within his power. He's given a budget but he has all these legislative aides around him in D.C., but he's going to turn veterans away from here. I'm sorry, read the bills yourself. Fire your legislative aides and you hire a specialist here. Not rocket science. Why hasn't he done it? Day one. And then I go and I advocate and I build a team and I work with leadership and we get a strategy of getting other people elected, not just in Colorado. I think and believe that we can go red again. But I'm already in contact with people from different states. So this election is so much more than just me. It's so much more than Doug. Doug's not going to help. He's not going to lift a finger. He's going to go to D.C. the next day, and that's it. The newscasters will be like, El Paso County, just going to do the same thing again. The Republican Party, the men's club, the khaki pants wearers, the blazers, this uniform. We're limited government, but I won't limit myself. And I'm going to really kind of work with the Democrats on these issues, because you have to there's such this Leviathan that I'm looking at. And I'm saying, God, you've got to help me. Give me wisdom. Because I want to make the most of my time, but this is so much more about me. So it's exciting. It's humbling. There are days that I'm like, what am I doing? And then there are days that I'm like, I was born for this. And there's something, this fire inside of my heart, and the wonderful people that have surrounded me and prayed for me. And when I'm tired, when I want to give up, someone's bringing me dinner or a nice bottle of whiskey, or and I'm just like, okay, I can do this. So anyway, if I can leave with you my gratefulness, and I hope that you will continue to move with me as we win this primary, which I really think it's happening. Doug wouldn't be spending tens of thousands of dollars against me. It first pissed me off, and I honestly had to get someone to pray for me because I was mad. I was like, I'm gonna find him, and him and his wife. But I said, you know what? He's scared, and I pity people who live in fear. I pity people who live in fear because it's a lonely place to be. I want to be a person of courage. I want to be someone of faith and knows that my identity is in so much more than what I do. Driven by these things. So I pray for Doug. I say I got to just get rid of forgive him. And there will be one event, I think, before the end of the election where he'll actually be in the same room with me. He refuses to debate me. He refuses to look me in the eye, even on the radio station. He will not even get on a radio show to debate me, talk with me, have a forum. 32 years old, what are you afraid of? Maybe it's my boots, maybe it's, I don't know. It's, you know, the big hair, you know, I was his intern, by the way. Some people don't know that. About 5 years ago to this month, I met him in DC. I met his staff. And I was walking through the halls of Congress, you know, in awe. It's a beautiful place. It really is, especially during cherry blossoms. You can get caught up in the grandeur, but at the same time, you know, there is just this humble responsibility that you can just feel there. And there are those that get it, and there's those that ride the system out. I'm self-term limiting. I am not going to become like my opponent or anyone there. No one's above temptation. I will support a convention of states, Article 5, constitutional amendment for term limits. I think that that's essential. You know, some people say, well, you're one of 35. What are you expecting to do? And I say, well, it's not about me. Me being elected is important because of who else I'm going to build, because if that's what it takes to restore representative democracy, this is what we have to do. I mean, we just have to do it. So my political will is there. I'm a little bit more libertarian than my candidate. We're both Christians, both conservatives, but you've got someone with heart, you've got someone with passion, you've got someone that sees through it, you've got someone that is willing to call other elected officials out on their crap, someone that is open to accountability. I am not someone that has all the answers. You know, I want help, I need help. I don't want to do it alone. I am a team player. You've got these two different, you know, entitled to rule versus duty to serve. Very different. And we as voters should demand that of elected officials. Should demand that level of character, because Washington's full of people that have $1 million degrees, you know, all the glittering experience and bank account, all these things. And I said, it doesn't buy character, it doesn't buy loyalty, it doesn't mean anything to me. Do you love your country? Do you know what your job is? So me going into DC, going forward, we've got a couple weeks to win this thing. All the help I can get getting the word out, it's all grassroots. I'm not going to raise $1 million, but if we can raise $5,000, I'll be happy. We're going to get the mailers. Lonzo get me a great deal printing out these mailers. We're going to do a ballot chase initiative for some of the rural areas, for some of the new voters. Really strategically thinking about some different pockets. So I'm excited. You know, we got yard signs coming in tomorrow. We're going to go around their little T-posts. You know, we're going to get out there. They're supposed to be flying. And, it's just exciting. So thank you for standing with me. Keep spreading the word. Get on social media. Write checks. Ask other people to write me checks. You know, say it's about getting people to stand up and vote. It's not about me, because it really becomes a saying, people, we are responsible for our country, and don't complain if you haven't shown up. Period. Right. So anyway, thank you.